He folds the same piece of paper again, even though it is already folded. The letter rests on the table where it has always been. His fingers press along the crease slowly. Then again, the paper does not resist. It never has. The room feels almost the same as it used to. The chair across from him is pushed in. The window is half open. Light moves across the floor in a thin line that shifts but never hurries. He does not look at the door. The letter stays in the center of the table, not hidden, not displayed, just there. He stands up at the same hour each day, walks past the table without touching it. Later, he comes back and stands over it, as if measuring the distance. Some days he sits. Some days he remains standing, hands resting at his sides. Nothing about the letter has changed. The paper is flat. The edges are clean. The fold is careful. He runs his thumb along the sealed edge, not to open it, only to feel where it closes. The room carries a quiet that was not there before. Not louder, just different. Like a space that has been adjusted by a small amount no one would notice unless they had memorized it. He moves the chair back half an inch, then pushes it forward again. The letter does not move. There was a time when the table felt smaller, when another pair of hands rested on the opposite side without effort. Now, the table feels wider, though it is not. He sits down. He looks at the fold he made. Then he smooths it once more. The paper stays exactly as it was. He begins to notice the hours by the way the light reaches the letter. In the morning, it touches only one corner. By afternoon, it stretches across the fold. He keeps pressing down. By evening, the table falls back into shadow, and the letter becomes a pale shape in the dimness. He does not move it. He wakes at the same time, washes his hands, dries them slowly, walks into the room, and pauses before sitting. The chair makes a small sound against the floor. It sounds louder than it used to. He keeps the letter in the center of the table, aligned with the edge. Some days he rotates it a few degrees to the left. Other days he turns it back. The paper itself remains sealed, untouched at the flap. He never opens it. Dust settles along the surface of the table. He wipes around the letter carefully, leaving a clean space that frames it. The square of untouched wood becomes familiar, almost deliberate. He eats at one side of the table now. The other side remains empty. He avoids placing anything near the letter. A cup sits far from it. A plate is set down and removed without crossing its space. At night, he stands beside the table longer than necessary. His hand hovers over the fold. Sometimes it rests there, palm flat, as if checking for warmth that is not present. The room holds its shape. The window still opens halfway. The chair across from him stays pushed in. He listens for a sound that does not come. Once, he slides the letter an inch closer to himself. He watches the movement closely, as if expecting resistance. There is none. The paper glides without protest. He leaves it closer that night. In the morning, he moves it back to the center. The change is small, but it feels like something has shifted. Not the letter, not the room, just the space he stands in. He picks up the letter for the first time in days and turns it over. The weight surprises him, though it has not changed. His thumb rests beneath the flap. He presses lightly, just enough to feel the edge give and return. The seal holds. The paper remains closed, quiet in his hand. He sets it down again, but not in the center. It stays slightly closer to his side of the table. He notices the difference immediately. The space across from him widens. The empty chair seems farther away. The distance feels deliberate, though he never meant to make it so. He sits longer that afternoon. The room carries the same stillness, but it does not sit the same way on his shoulders. He watches the light move across the surface of the table and stop short of the letter, as if something invisible blocks it. He thinks of the day it arrived. The envelope had been placed gently on the table, almost carefully. He had seen her hand withdraw first. He had noticed the silence between them stretch, but he had not stepped into it. He had not asked why. The letter remains sealed. It does not explain. It does not accuse. He remembers standing in the doorway that day, feeling that something small was shifting. Not loud, not dramatic, just slightly out of place, like a chair moved a fraction too far. He had believed there would be time. He lifts the letter again. This time, he brings it close to his chest, not to read it, only to hold it against something solid. The paper bends slightly beneath the pressure, then flattens when he loosens his grip. He lowers it slowly and returns it to the table. Not to the center, not all the way to his side. Somewhere in between. He leaves the letter where it is. Not centered. Not fully his. The space between it and the edge of the table remains uneven, and he does not correct it. Morning light reaches only part of the fold now. The rest stays in shadow. He notices this, but he does not adjust the table or the curtain. The imbalance remains. He no longer presses the crease each day. Sometimes he passes the table without stopping. His steps are steady. His hands remain at his sides. The letter waits in the same quiet position, unchanged. The chair across from him has not moved. He sits down less often. When he does, he keeps his distance, choosing the far end of the table as if the letter belongs to a space he does not fully occupy anymore. He has stopped imagining what is written inside. The silence of the sealed flap feels complete on its own. There are moments when his fingers hover over it, not with hesitation now, but with a kind of recognition. The edge is firm. The paper is still smooth. Nothing has faded. He understands something without opening it. The day she placed it there did not break loudly. It shifted quietly. He had felt it then, a small absence forming, but he'd stood still inside it. Now the stillness feels settled. He moves the chair across from him an inch farther back. The sound against the floor is softer than before. He leaves it that way. The table feels larger. The room feels balanced in a different shape. The letter remains where it rests. He does not bring it closer. He does not return it to the center. He stands by the window instead, letting the light fall where it chooses. The paper stays folded. The flap stays sealed. And he allows it to stay that way. Some moments are not missed by choice. They pass because there is no time left. Most people realize it much later. If you have ever looked back at a place you cannot return to, this feeling may be familiar.